The facts are glaring, and NASA will not condone impunity by any person, no matter his station in life or status in society. You do not take away the conversation. The conversation is on the forgery. You have an illegal degree, so you're a governor illegally. You get the point? The illegality runs. So it's not a question you inspiring us with your D-minors. It's a question of the illegality. And people, if you look at, for instance, my brother Joho, Waititu, and Sonko, this is a manifestation, not of people who've made it, but of a regime or a government and a political system that is corrupt. Through corruption, you're able to forge a certificate. Through corruption, you're able to get a degree. Through corruption, you're able to corrupt a political system to make you a governor. Through an inept government, they heroize you. You know? So I think if you look at it, I want to tell young people in this coast region, don't get D-minus. We are trying, sisi tuwajaribu katika pwani kupunguza hizi D-minus. The narrative of failure is what we are fighting against. You give us a few examples. Watuambia Ali Mazrui. Did you see Ali Mazrui? Ali Mazrui did not fail. There's a difference between failing and not doing very well. When you don't do very well, you go to Mombasa Polytechnic. Ali Mazrui went to Mombasa Polytechnic. It was called Miome at that time, with a division 3. He then got a scholarship and to then pursued his education, and then has been an author of countless books. Bill Gates did not need the university. The university needed Bill Gates. He's the owner of Microsoft. So when people point to you, 5, 6 people were successful without doing well, or without a university degree, or with a D-minus, they then tell you of the overwhelming millions who are doing well because of the A-minus, and A, and B+, and up to C+. So it's a very wrong narrative. And I think as a candidate in Mombasa County, I will speak. When Marwa speaks in a manner as to offend the objective flow of our elections, I will call a counter press conference. You know now, Joho, these guys want to deport him. To where? So you saw that? I saw that on E Daily or something. E News or something. In the situation. To be deported where? For what? So constantly we are being treated now to a theatrics. And Mwangange and team, if you do not bring down the issues in Mombasa to a conversation on the performance and policy, and we know where the reign between Uhuru Kenyatta, I personally know it. That's why I've been silent. Where the reign between Uhuru Kenyatta and Joho beat them. It was not a political fallout, it was a business fallout. From the free port to INYS to a few other issues that were not honored. So then you reorient a business fallout, a personal fallout, to a political conversation. So I think that's why we are here today, to start prosecuting. Now, many parents, and I saw caricatures in the cartoons. Please, people of the coast region, do well. You cannot even be a governor with a D- in Kenya. So you have to ensure that you do well in your academics. You must serve by example. You must have the integrity necessary. And we will not fear to speak about these things. You know, you must stand up for what is right. A cause that is popular, like judicial executions, is not necessarily right. So if we're right now, we're having a political circus, people must intervene to decimate the dominant narratives with reason. So hatutaki kesho tuone performance za skuli zetu are doing much worse because people are being told, yeah, it's not the kind of life. Often, to many people who've not done well, life becomes a real challenge. Unless then you take that initiative wewe mwenyewe to build up. Hata yule mzazi who did not do well is today trying his or her best to ensure that the kid excels in school. 90% of the people who walk into my door come here for education purposes. 90% of people who walk into the CDF are there for education purposes. If education and excellence was not that important, why do parents run around? My parents were not educated, but they ensured that their son was educated. And many parents here, even if their education is not up to pace, they will ensure that their kids get educated, and we will ensure that our kids get educated. So you know me, I grew up largely with my friends from the Luo community when I was in the university. For them, academic excellence is not negotiable. So to see somebody based on political consideration now trying to twist the conversation that it is okay, it is not okay. Work hard, work very hard, and be men and women of integrity. That's what this nation needs. You do not want to have all these integrity issues lumped at you. Your businesses have integrity issues. Your education has integrity issues. Your performance has integrity issues. And you say that you're successful, and then every other young person thinks success is driving a good car. It is not. It is also about integrity. Kwa hayo mengi, nataka sasa nijibu maswali yenu. Yes, Bongange. Yeah, that one. It depends on what year that if there was really, they had any doubt. I think at the age of 14, he was incapable of forgery. So if there's anybody who forged that certificate, then it must be one of the guardians who must then, we can then sort those guardians. You know what I mean? He could not have been capable of forgery at the age of 14, unless then he was in another world, you know. But this certificate, the C+ certificate, which is the point in question, is a more recent certificate. Yeah, so that one, when you are about in the age of majority, we can deal with you. And I can tell you, I've made it very clear. I see a lot of wealthy businessmen, Mwangange, people who are beneficiaries of corruption, now trying to join the NASA wave. And some of them might just be elected in office. Yeah? In this country, a qualification is wealth, illegal or otherwise. It gets you probably into an elective position. But I am a guarantor. I was one of those who fought hard to have that code of ethic. That when you are under investigations, you must step out of office. You don't go to get a preemptive bail or anticipatory bail or to stop an investigation against you. You must be punished. And I'll go anybody alleged to have committed any criminal offense, yeah, must be punished if the NASA regime comes in, even if you hold any particular position. Number two, some of these things coming out closer to elections, Mwangange, is not necessarily victimization. It is the nature of election period. Sasa hivi ukija ukipata dozi ya juu yangu, which I can give you a guarantee, you will not get any. You will go scoop with it. Yeah? We knew what Trump did or did not do in the last 3-4 months of the elections. All kinds of dossiers, the universities that were failing, businesses that collapsed. We knew that we knew the talks about the talks to Wall Street by which Clinton was earning up to $200,000 to $300,000 per presentation to Wall Street. So people saying that she will be captive to corrupt businesses and corrupt industry or corrupt Wall Street. So it is nothing strange. So if we hear that there's a C+ certificate against a D-, it is part of what elections do. They unearth things that were hitherto hidden. But they should not inform the conversation. That's why I'm asking, let Joho be in peace so that we can have an issue-oriented campaign. All of you here are residents of Mombasa, and you know, minus those emotive issues, minus the fights, that he has nothing to offer. So that's why we are saying, let him be. And I can assure you, after the NASA government takes over, this forgery will be one of the first matters that will go before a criminal jurisdiction. We cannot condone this type of things. Yeah, if it was forgery, it was forgery. It means your degree was an nullity ab initio. It means you're a governor illegally. It is a series of illegalities that then manifest themselves. So that is the truth of the matter, and we don't fear saying this. You see, for me, I'm in a political contest. So I will say things that even some of you will not agree with, even if you're in the same coalition with me. But I'm also conscious of the people of Mombasa. We cannot come and tell the people of the coast region that failure is okay. This is a region we have blamed or said has been marginalized for the last 30-40 years in terms of education, and then we make it appear that it's okay, you know, to just, you know, perform mediocre in school because you can be a clearing and forwarding agent and do away with a few containers and get a good car. So it's a very, very simplistic SI unit of politics. In fact, if there was public outrage, I can tell you that Kenya in 10 years, if you are alleged to have done anything, you will not be able to hold public office. A political party should be able to tell you. I've told one of our aspirants, to get done with his court matter. I know one of our aspirants here, I found out, is actually before a court of law. And I've insisted on the board that he cannot run with me. He has a criminal matter before him. So if you have a criminal matter, you step aside. You can't start holding public office so that you can then influence. Look at that Filipino president, South Korean president, Park. Where is she now? She's in detention. So we will prosecute any matter, any forgery, any corruption by any person. Whether you did it when you are in Jubilee or you do it as when you're in court, we will prosecute you. It's a government that will fight impunity. Yes, ndugu yangu. Watoka wapi?
My name is Joho from VOA.
Oh, Voice of America. Kumbe nimekuwa mtu wa kimataifa. Haya. Wacha niweke accent yangu sasa ya kizungu. Wa America.
The Senator from Mombasa, the governor, belongs to the opposition.
Belong to NASA, yes. We know that the government, we are an opposition in Nairobi. We are not an opposition here. Suleiman Shabal is the opposition here.
My question is,
of NASA.
are there some things you are doing jointly to make sure the opposition wins the next election and forms the next government?
In fact, for me, running for governorship ensures that the opposition wins. Because so many of the Mombasa residents are so disillusioned with the current state of affairs. So to ensure an opposition victory, I must give people a choice within the opposition. And things that we're doing jointly, definitely. We'll have joint campaigns once the presidential flag bearer is named. We'll have joint campaigns everywhere in this county. You know, Wiper also has a gubernatorial lineup in all the 6 counties in the country, in the coast region. We have a governor candidate. We have a very good lineup, by the way. We offer, in fact, when I come to that lounge, I will tell you the qualitative alternative that Wiper is giving the coast region. From Lamu down to Kwale. We'll be in Kwale over the weekend. And therefore, our lineup is extremely excellent. Yes, my brother.
My question revolves around the Witi and Wiper debate. He might have blinked fast, but he's a sitting member of parliament. And as you say, politics is a game of numbers. Where does Wiper, the party, in terms of consolidating the numbers that you had, and maybe they have moved in that direction? 2, there have been reports that primaries were supposed to be held earlier on, I think 2-3 weeks ago, as the Secretary General. What happened?
First and foremost, yes, you had the IBC saying that there can be no primaries outside the time designated for primaries. Did you hear that? Yes. The 13th is the time designated. Yesterday, I was submitted as the sole candidate for Wiper. So as far as I'm concerned, you see, Mtalaki, if I sit with you in a meeting, and then you decide to call Cornell later and give him a scoop, that is your own problem if it is not communicated officially. You get the point? When you run a scoop in the Standard, in the Nation, in the Star, in your media houses, it does not make it an official announcement. So you unofficially go to communicate to somebody based on your own consideration that we are going to have something. Did Wiper communicate that we are going to have a nomination anywhere officially? So when I sit with you and give you an outcome of a gossip conversation, it does not make it official position of the party. So as far as I'm concerned, parties could only have had their nominations next week after the gazettement of the names for those persons to be nominated. But even if that were the case, that modus operandi that Awiti had elected or selected or preferred was unworkable. Sisi hapa tumejipanga, sisi we are aspirants here, all of us. In fact, all these are aspirants from Wiper. Sisi tumejipanga, tumetafuta aspirants. Tukitafuta aspirants, tukaambiwa kila mtu lazima, because the party rules say nomination shall be by party members, sio? Tukaanza kuregister watu. Sisi tuwaregister, mimi nakuona mvaa shuka kule, sijui kwa mzee. Mimi nakuwa register, wewe nakuona mvaa manyoa, sijui na ngozi. Sisi tuwaregister, wewe hapa. There is a law. Baada tushamaliza yote, jamaa hajasema sasa hizi nomination tutafute sijui wazee 20 wa Kigiriama, sijui tutafute wazee 20 wa Kijaluo, sijui tutafute wazee 20 wa Kiluya. We get elders, and then they choose for us. So I'm thinking, which world does this guy live in? Come on, which world? So he wanted that Ati elders. From where? Mimi, wewe kila siku, mimi mwenyewe pia nimejikenda. Wewe uniambia una MOU na Mijikenda na mimi sijui. Ama una MOU na Jaluo na mimi na Jaluo hajui. So how do you even come up with those elders from those places? But the party nomination rules are clear. You want a nomination? Mtalaki, I can assure you, had Awiti Graham come with me for the party nomination, I would have beaten him roundly and squarely. Serious. And number two, because that's what the nomination is about. Number two, Awiti has left Wiper. Yeah? Ameondoka na aspirants watatu. One registered aspirant, na wawili who have just been hearing them rumors saying that they are running in the social media. Jana was the list. VDP was one of those who didn't submit it. We didn't submit names of aspirants. You know, there's a rule of law. It's not a country of discretion. This is not like running a CFS. This is running... When you run a legal institution or you are running a legal process, you track yourself. With what is it? My first hurdle was to get the Wiper nomination. You register members and get aspirants on your side. Now, pale alipopitia akaenda kavalishwa shuka na nini, nitaenda sasa. Now you are looking for votes of everybody. So you have to be a strategist in how you plot. So you fail in your strategy, and then at no point, Mtalaki, did I ever, or did it even occur to my mind that I was going to run for Senate and leave Awiti to be governor. Oh my God, I'm Mombasa with Awiti. Hey, listen, let's be fair. In fact, I'm happy now he's on the other side. The fact that Awiti can even imagine to be governor of Mombasa demonstrates the mediocrity of Joho's regime. That, for Awiti to imagine he can perform better than Joho, that's the mediocrity that Joho has presented in this country. Just because we are tolerant, ati Awiti awe running mate wangu, where are we taking that county? Yes, gender. Bona wacheka bwana. Yes.
This is not the first time that Joho academic credentials, the question of whether it's legal or not is coming to the limelight. It was there in 2013 and you're also in the opposition. Yeah. Right now when you're saying NASA will punish impunity once you're the governor of Mombasa, yeah? How comes you didn't see it being punished? How comes you didn't say that he should step down then?
Because, June, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The architecture of impunity. When I talked about some of my friends in the political circles being beneficiaries of impunity and corruption, that's exactly what I mean. I am a candidate or an aspirant in Wiper that we cannot work with you because you have a criminal case before you. But we see sometimes when you have wealth. Sasa hivi, if some of these people who steal the most from you came and decided they wanted to be your MCA or your member of parliament or your governor, it is likely all of you here will be clad in dark blue, saying how great a leader I am. So the fact that a system is skewed towards corruption, towards impunity, towards, standards or that don't offend the conscience of any politician, then it doesn't make it right. We still can pursue it. So that's why I want this conversation to be isolated. Yeah? And you see that the thing is, everybody knew it was in public domain, judicial notice, that that C+ was not real. So the fact that now we have evidence, and a NASA government will have evidence, but because the way Jubilee is pursuing it makes it appear like victimization. But nobody must not be punished for mistakes that were committed willfully, because this negates an entire, structure of good conduct. Can you imagine if you're the one who had a forged degree? Can you imagine, June, if you're the one? The standard will have, the KBC will have dismissed you. You have now be facing prosecution. So if it applies to June, then it must apply to May and Joho.
He seems to have a lot of confidence in his race. Why?
Why do I have confidence in this race? First, we know that we present a totally different narrative and candidacy. Hapa hakuna wezi. Hapa, by God's design, we have been able to attract some of the best aspirants in the county. These aspirants are not there because they think they're in a losing team. How possible is it to have an aspirant in every position and think you're in a losing team? Wiper and even Jubilee at the last election was at pains to look for candidates. This time, candidates have looked for us, aspirants across the board. We have sitting MCAs here. We have former mayors. We have Mcharo. We have Bajabir. We have all types of people. We have teachers, Kina Matthias. So we have attracted a litany of good men and women of good character. And we also are responsive. That's why we're having this. We will have several of these types of press conferences. These are policy orientations. We are saying this team is the winning team in Mombasa. But what we are saying, stop hii mambo madogo. Ekimalizika KCSE, KCPE. Ekimalizika KCPE, Nasari. Sasa paka mwisho mtu asema mtaka kundeport. So constantly in every week headed to the elections, Mombasa people will be in a sensational engagement rather than a policy and issue orientation. So that's what we are trying to be a buffer to. And sometimes you need to attack these popular narratives or these dominant narratives. This is not a popular narrative, it's a dominant narrative. Nani katika hii Mombasa? Jana, nikitoka bunge juzi, nimezuiliwa na MPs wawili watatu. Wasema huyu jamaa alikuwa ameisha. Kila mtu anakuambia, political pundits in analysis, wanakuambia huyu jamaa alikuwa ameisha. So what has happened? Don't flog a dead horse. Please let us just bury him. Kangethe nitamaliza.
Your Excellency Governor in waiting.
Thank you very much, Kangethe. That is the role of independent media. The independent media must guide decisions.
You have expressed concerns that the Jubilee government and its operatives, Maro among them, have reduced the governorship campaign for Mombasa into theatrics.
You have understood me so well.
Yes. But,
That's a comment, a good comment.
But as a person who is coming to bring alternatives, we've not had you clearly coming up with issues that you want to address. And is this something maybe you have done elsewhere, or is it something that you're planning to do?
Every time you hear me saying that there's theft in Mombasa County, that there's garbage, that's an issue. It means I will do it differently. But, as I said, my first hurdle was to secure the nomination. Now I'm a candidate. I have moved from aspirant to candidate. Now I will launch my manifesto. And first I'll do my political launch to say who we are about. I will prosecute an alternative narrative for Mombasa County. You will all see it. I will give you the contrasts. And for me, it will be two candidates. I don't regard Awiti as a factor. Against Leman and against Joho. Why? These two are made of almost similar fiber with different languages and size of beard. And then me on the other side. Why I'm an alternative in the strictest sense of the word. So then I will launch my manifesto, where the skeleton of that manifesto is ready. It is actually coming to the public for validation. Next week I'll be launching the CMI, the Citizen Manifesto Initiative, so that you can validate my manifesto. Ushaona, I have two elements of the manifesto, the software and the hardware. The software is about values. It's about my prioritization, the reorganization, the institutional practice in government, and the hardware is developmental. I even sets very high standards. This of contact that NASA put, I had a for it. So you want business with the county, don't take a position. If you government will punish If you scream issue, we will jail. There's the software. I have seen it. Assumes agenda when it's not only is to announce that a new sheriff is in town by very firm action. There are certain things I'm going to do, including a bit of restitution. Kuna watu wamesema sijui wameibiwa maflat, wameambiwa watoe flat. I will have a panel, an investigative panel or committee. So I will pursue every criminal action to its conclusion. So kama wewe nimeset up your panel, you come and present your complaints. If wewe uchukuliwa flat, tutakuregeshea. And we will not only restitute you, will retribute, will punish the person who asked you for that flat. Kama wewe ulikuja ukaambia utoe hongo mahali, which you think is sizable, you will come and tell us. So I think we will follow each and every illegality to its conclusion. Hii kesi, it's not that it is not ready. If you take it to court now, it will appear political. Sata Joho went to court to seek what I call anticipatory bail. Because the case, because those of us who are his peers, me pia nilimaliza 1993, university, even high school. Nilimaliza 1993, mwada kujua nilipata ngapi? So, if I finished in 1993, yeah, so if you, and everybody knows what he scored. So that forgery was used in the commission of, to facilitate commission of crimes. It was just not a forgery of a KCSE certificate. If we are sacking people from here, from KPA, see, people have been let go. Yes. So if we sack people from KPA, we must sack people also from public service. Yes. So if that is true, that audit then must extend to everybody. So there's already basis for it. But I'm just telling Jubilee to stop these things for now, the charade. Because for me, as I said, the greatest threat to the politics of Mombasa County is Jubilee and our county regional commissioner, Marwa. He can wake up 3 weeks to the election and do something that we might just come here now and start having an early party so that we're waiting for election day. Trust me, I'm so anxious. Our strategy teams are anxious by the day. When we hear a Marwa press conference, our heart beats double. We are all tuned into live TV. We hear him speak. When he's finished, twapumua, because he can do something or say something and resurrects a dead horse. So I think you and it for today. I can see all of you. June, you look like you're going to vote for me now. you have looked with me so suggestively.